Oh, now that's it. Now she's got something to try.
Your cinnamon rolls and cash and carry. No, that's not it. You know, shopping cart. Sorry. Never mind. Recipe in this paper I would like when you use it done with you.
Take it out. Is it today's?
Yes.
Here, let me make a note here. What page is it on?
Oh, no, wait. The only thing in back of it is
that doesn't matter.
Cash and carry advertisements.
Oh, well then tear it out now. Tear it out now. We'll talk to you.
And the only thing is the cash and carry advertisement on that page and the other recipe.
Tear it on now.
It's called Lazy Daisy Cake.
You can explain it, Dick.
Thanks. Lazy Daisy Cake with a praline topping. And this other one sounds good too. Mississippi Mud Cake.
I heard of that already.
Gussie.
About that, whatever, that story.
Gussie, sit down. Gussie, stay. Stay. Gussie. Gussie, stay. Gussie, stay. Stay.
What didn't seem that long? San Francisco. Okay.
Oh, how about this? I haven't seen movies yet. Stick dollar bills in this one.
Yeah, I think Edison invented that.
Get your change right away. And I was gonna put lipstick on before I came on.
Hey, that's enough, Mike. I can see what you mean, Ann.
That's what's above your head. It's very boring.
Okay, folks. On behalf of the city of Fort Myers, I'd like to welcome you to Thomas Edison's winter home. Mr. Edison came to Fort Myers in 1884 and bought 14 acres of land. There's 5 acres across McGregor Boulevard. That's where the house and gardens are. We go over there first, and then we'll come back on this side and go through the laboratory and the museum. It takes us about an hour and 20 minutes. My name's Charlie, and I'll be your guide. We do have a few mild regulations. Most of them are on this loop. And they do make quite an impression on you if you happen to be under the tree when one falls. Now in Africa, this tree is pollinated by a little brown bat. Since we don't have a little brown bat, everyone growing on this tree has been pollinated when both trees are in bloom from a tree across the street. We have a man, this is McGregor Boulevard. In 1900, McGregor Boulevard was a dirt cattle trail coming from Fort Myers Beach, where they would unload the cattle boats and drive them down this trail and sell them at the market. Mr. Edison lived here at that time and wanted to beautify the street. So he and some more businessmen bought 4 barge loads of royal palms from Cuba and planted them in a 2-mile row from downtown Fort Myers out west on each side every 18 feet. Since that time, the city of Fort Myers has extended these royal palms all the way to Fort Myers Beach. So we have 14 miles of royal palms on McGregor Boulevard. We have them on every business district and most all residential areas in Fort Myers. Some of them grow to be over 100 years old and 100 feet tall. Some of these right out here were the ones Mr. Edison planted. And these royal palms all over Fort Myers is the reason Fort Myers is called the city of palms. And then we cross the street. Youngest of 7 children. His first wife, Mary Stillwell, died of typhoid fever when she was 29 years old. They had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. That was 1884, and that year, on the doctor's orders, Mr. Edison came down to recover his health to Florida, and he finally saw this 14 acres for sale. He liked everything about it. On the Caloosahatchee River, already had giant bamboo growing on it. The only one thing he didn't like was the price. They wanted $3,000 for it. And he talked them down to $2,750. He stayed here the winter of '84. Next year he went back north, and that fall married Mina Miller, an 18-year-old music teacher. He brought her back on their honeymoon to Fort Myers, and they spent their honeymoon in this yellow house called Honeymoon Cottage. They also had 3 children, Charles, Madeline, and Theodore. Charles Edison was Secretary of the Navy for a while under President Roosevelt, and he was governor of New Jersey from '41 to 1944. The interesting thing about the Melaleuca is the sap contains one of the main ingredients used for making Vic salve, which is eucalyptus. Now there's a purple bougainvillea growing in the top of the tree. Now you ladies should like this plant. This is called the bixa. Be a rainy day, it'll grow 1 foot to 1.5 feet in one day. It takes less than 2 months to grow this tall. Now he used it on many of his experiments. The swimming pool is right behind us. When they built the pool in 1900, instead of using steel to reinforce the cement, they poured the cement around a bamboo frame, and it hardly ever has had a leak or a crack. They also used it as a filament for a light bulb. It lasted 40 hours and is classified as grass. 5 times as big as this building, where they worked on the generator, the light bulb, the phonograph, the storage battery. But in 1925, Mr. Edison wasn't inventing anything. In fact, he didn't invent anything the last 8 or 10 years of his life. He died in 1931. So the big electric laboratory was not being used. His friend Henry Ford asked him, he said, "Mr. Edison, since you're not using the laboratory, how about giving it to me?" Mr. Edison said, "I'll give it to you, Henry, on one condition, if you'll take the soil under it with you." So in 1925, Henry Ford moved the electric laboratory from this spot to Dearborn, Michigan. It's sitting in Dearborn right now on Fort Myers soil, and it's open to the public. When they moved that building, Ms. Edison built in this office, so on a rainy day you wouldn't have to go across the street. He could just come down here to the sidewalk to his office. This is his private office. White wings with a blue body. That's the largest one. The giant white bird of paradise, and that belongs to the banana family and also the traveling bog. See it? This is about a half-grown mango. You can see them all up to this mango tree here. This is a cinnamon tree. From the bark of this tree, they make cinnamon. And you can see it's dirty. We never use it. When Mr. Edison lived here, this pool was kept clean by an artesian well. It's across the street, 700 feet deep. It would fill this swimming pool in 7 hours. The pool is 9 feet deep at the right end. It was used to irrigate the whole 14 acres, and I'll show you the well a little later. We have no proof that Mr. Edison ever went in this pool. He said he didn't. He said he built it for his family and his friends, and he said the reason he didn't go in, he said he didn't believe in physical exercise. He said the only reason the body was made was to carry the brain around, and it lived to be 84 years old. And to get about that big around. But once the tree grows up and has a stalk of bananas, and you cut them off, the whole tree dies. Each banana tree bears one stalk of bananas, and then it'll just fall over. They keep coming up like Irish pubs. You can see one right there coming out. So once you get them started, you always got bananas. The river is the Caloosahatchee. The Calusa was a Florida Indian tribe, and Hatchie in Indian means river. That's where it got the name Caloosahatchee. Mr. Edison had this pier built in 1887. At that time, the end of that pier was a quarter of a mile long, and one of the only ways in and out of Fort Myers was into that pier. Every 30 days, a boat would come from Tampa bringing passengers and mail, picking up passengers and mail. If you didn't want to stay 30 days, a good idea would be to stay on the boat. Now, I'm going to show you a cycad plant. You can see it better from here than you can when you get closer to it. Cycads are the oldest seed-bearing plants on Earth. We have evidence that 60 million years ago, a fifth of the Earth was covered with them, and that the dinosaurs used to feed on them. I'll show you what we call a medium-sized seed pod. If you take a look to your left over there next to that, way over there past that tree, you see a seed pod hanging on that tree? The short tree over there. That's full of seeds. That's a cycad plant. That's a wicked willow.
Like a little palm.
Mr. Edison liked cats, and Miss Edison liked birds, so they built the birdhouse out there where the cats wouldn't get them. These are philodendrons, and here's the cycad we was talking about. Now, you ladies also know what aloe is. If you've never seen aloe growing, it's in a wooden box on your right as you go around the corner. Aloe. There's a big tree behind it with big green leaves that has purple flowers on it. That's a hibiscus tree. Folks, this is the Florida state tree. There's 2,900 different types of palm. This is called the sable palm, the state tree of Florida. From the heart of this tree, which is the very top, They take it out and make an elite and expensive food shipped up north that's called hearts of palm. Very expensive. In Florida, the same thing is called swamp cabbage. You can get a large plate for about $1. Hearts of palm and swamp cabbage is the same thing. This is a fruit salad vine because the fruit tastes like 3 or 4 fruits stirred up together. And here's to one of the trees, sausage tree. Miss Edison belonged to the Audubon Society, and she used to keep birds here, so we keep a bird or two in her name. In 1885, Mr. Edison drew the plans of this house, sent them to a friend of his, Stephen Knight, in Fairfield, Maine. He built this house in Maine out of ash wood, disassembled it, put it on 4 schooners, sent it down the Atlantic coast. It was brought from the river up here and put together by Fort Myers carpenters. One of the world's very first prefabricated houses. It has 14-foot porches all the way around downstairs. The big upstairs was the children's bedroom, 4 bedrooms. Downstairs behind me was Mr. and Miss Edison's bedroom. There was another bedroom up above it where the porch is that he called his doghouse, and he stayed up there quite a bit. So the books say. 1887, the same year that Mr. Edison built the pier, he had his men wire this house underground for electric lights, and using a steam engine and a generator for power, just about everybody in this whole county turned out to see the first house in Florida with electric lights. And just before Miss Edison died in 1947, she sold the whole 14 acres to the city of Fort Myers for $1, with strict rules that it'd always be a shrine to Miss Edison. And when we go through, most of the light bulbs you see have been burning since 1925. They're 20-watt tungsten filament. We turn them on every morning, turn them off at night. The chandeliers are made by Mr. Edison himself. If you look at them, these are the first chandeliers ever made in the world to hold electric light bulbs. Up until these, they were made for candles or they were gas chandeliers. And we'll go take a look. Guess what type of burn this is? Looks like something used. Riprap. Riprap burn. China, and have lights in these, and I can show you how it works. But Mr. Edison got the Presidential Award of Honor for this invention. What looks like a stainless steel sink is really 40 years ahead of stainless. Mr. Edison had it made out of copper and covered with nickel. There's a big tree behind me on the outside, folks. When you get way down here, you can see it. Gumbo limbo tree. And we have a lot of fun with it, especially in the summertime. thing he did is bring these big rubber trees in like this Morton Bay fig. But after he got them planted, he figured it's going to take them too long to grow, so he started looking other place, and finally with the help of Luther Burbank and John Burrs, they've settled on the Florida goldenrod. But the interesting part about this Morton Bay fig is that all the roots are above the ground. They don't go over 12 inches deep anywhere you're looking. But if you look way off to your right, you'll see a root that goes all the way to that leaning over tree with the bench. And not only do they grow that way, they grow in all directions that long. So even though they're not deep, the tree is well rooted. This tree is also called the serpent tree because the roots look like serpents. See if I can show you an interesting picture. You got a picture? Oh, that's a good thing about it. Smile over this way.
Don't film.
Film and all that. Okay, anyway. Okay. I just showed you. This is a root from that tree. Goes all the way around there. You can see it going over there and going back to that tree. This is a camphor tree from the leaf of this tree, and this is not a big one. Some of these get to be 36 inches wide. This is called a big leaf sea grape. Part of the dividing tree. The dividing tree just goes the easiest way. And across the hay feeder room, that's where you can bring in the goldenrod leaves. That's why they're coughing and sneezing in that room. The still is in the middle of the floor where they were distilled leaves of the goldenrod, give 10% latex. In 1915, the Florida Power and Light came to Fort Myers. This building was built in 1925, so you see the Florida Power and Light furnished the power to run these lights and machines, and most of them have been burning since 1925.
I'm not getting too many leaves in the way. Let's get down.
Should I pick up some leaves?
No, I see them. No.
Got him?
Mr. Edison started Hot Point. He also started General Electric. But when he sold 51% of the company, they dropped his name. That's just Hot Point and GE. Okay? Yep. Folks, this is Charles Edison's car when he was the governor of New Jersey. 1936 Brewster Ford touring car. Aluminum body, steel fenders, 15-foot Lincoln frame, a 1936 Ford V8 engine. He was very proud of this car. You can see his #1 license plate. And this automobile still just has 12,000 miles on it. Oh no, he's a bad driver. Folks, these projectors here are not used just for fun. They're hero-made till these two men got the film developed. And when they did, Mr. Edison built a moving picture studio up in West Orange, New Jersey. It cost him $650. The first movie ever made in the world of anything moving on the film. One of the workers, Frank Ott, was going to do a little something. He got in front of the camera rolled, and he sneezed. The movie is called The Sneeze. It lasted for 7 seconds. The second movie ever made was called The Kiss, and it lasted 7 seconds. Now that's the first two of anything moving on the camera film, first two movies. The Sneeze had about 30 frames, and The Kiss had about 20 frames.
It says Sneeze.
A 4-cylinder Cadillac. And when he first got this automobile, it had a convertible type top, but evidently Miss Edison got cold or her hair blew. She wanted it closed. So they had an old electric car. They had the top cut off and welded onto this one. So this is the only Cadillac in the world, 1908, with a closed-in top. To turn the lights on, you jump out this door, take a match, and you light each one of these with a match. And you walk right. Nobody knows what it would sound like. You? Let's hear what it sounds like. That was John Burrs, and this was Mr. Edison. Every year he wanted to give Mr. Edison a brand new car, but Mr. Edison said, I don't want a new car, Henry. I like that one, and I'm not going to turn it loose. So for 20 years, Henry Ford sent mechanics to Fort Myers with any parts it took to update this car to what the brand new models had on it, but he never turned it loose. In 1915, they even sent a whole new body down. The only thing left of the very first 1907 is the frame and the steering wheel. And incidentally, folks, that's the first steering wheel in the United States on the left-hand side, like your car. Now, this had a speedometer cable, a generator, and every year this car is driven in as a parade of light runs like a top. Went right out that door past February. Now, you can also see that these wheels are not in the center of the fender. Mr. Ford made Mr. Edison's car different. He didn't make his as John Burroughs up north like it. He made Mr. Edison's wheels wider. Each one of these wheels is 4 inches wider, which throws it out in the center of the fender. That's a total of 60 inches away, all the way across, and 60 inches is exactly the width of the wagon ruts in Fort Myers in 1907. So you see, these were made to fit in the ruts around Fort Myers. How'd you like to see Henry Ford, Thomas A. Edison, Harvey Firestone, and John Burroughs? That's a Brady. Folks, this is the International Owl Collections Club, and he must have been the president with all these owls. These little rocking horses right here, I wish they still made them because they're real handy. The little child rocks back and forth on them, the front leg swings out and it goes across the floor like that. I've never seen one other than these two. Harold Lloyd, the old comedian, made these. Now, over here is a picture of General MacArthur, a close friend of Charles Edison. The most interesting part about this room is that painting. That's Charles's favorite painting of his father. That's an original oil painting. If you look at it a second or two, some of you will remember because we...
Trying to see if I can make a nice smooth thing here.
He went and took her shirt and claimed it for himself.
Mommy, get a picture of me standing by the waterfall. Over there.
As long as they stay over there, they're all right. They don't want to go here, they got too many feet.
And big teeth, very big teeth, that qualify as evolutionary overkill for bamboo. That's why scientists believe the panda at one time was mostly or completely carnivorous. Why and how it managed to adapt its diet is a mystery. What is known is that for a wild animal, the panda is most friendly toward humans.
Africa. It would take 3 months of your time and over $20,000 to see them in their natural habitat. Busch Gardens' commitment to animal conservation is evident through our efforts in propagating these birds. We have over 115 species of parrots and have been very successful with our breeding programs. Captive breeding allows us to place these birds in a safe environment and helps protect the birds in the wild. The trained behaviors you will see are exercises which demonstrate their physical capabilities and their intelligence. If you stay with us for the next 25 minutes, you will be treated to a rare opportunity that would be unavailable to you anywhere else in the world, except here at Busch Gardens, Tampa. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are our trainers.
Well, hi, everyone. Hi. My name is Janet. This is Petey. He's a green-winged macaw.
Hi, I'm Kim, and this is our peregrine falcon named Fox. Busch Gardens' commitment to animal conservation is evident throughout the park. We hope you'll take the opportunity to enjoy and learn about the more than 300 species we have on exhibit here. Today we'll be sharing with you some information about these birds, showing you behaviors both learned and natural that they're capable of performing.
There will be numerous free flight demonstrations by some of the world's most fascinating and beautiful birds. And each of the trained birds I'll be showing you has been affection trained. I'm sure you'll see the trust that exists between myself and each of these beautiful birds. Okay, Petey, now concentrate. How's that for a headstand? Very nice, Petey. And now I'd like to give you a demonstration of Cutie's excellent shape and color perception. Each of the pieces of this psychologist-type form board are in a different shape and color, representing her favorite foods. Cutie will correctly replace each of these pieces because they perceive color in much the same way as you and I do. Okay, Cutie. She's moving right along. One more to go. There it is, a perfect puzzle. These birds are not only capable of many learned behaviors, they're excellent mimics as well. While developing their vocabulary, we use verbal and visual cues. In fact, there's a record of a bird having a vocabulary of over 1,000 words. Well, Fred, our South American friend, is a blue and gold macaw. Now, he's not that noted of a public speaker yet, but he is working on it. Let's hear what he has to say. Say hello, Fred. What happened? Are you ready, buddy? Do you remember your lines? Say hello, Fred.
Hello, Fred.
Oh, Fred, I really wanted you to say hello to everyone.
Hi.
Okay. Fred, do you think you're a pretty bird? I love a modest bird. How is that nasty cough? What a funny bird. Yes, we heard your cough. Well, perhaps Fred can even tell us what this is. What is it? A cracker is right. You know, I bet these people would love to hear you sing. With a voice like that, maybe he should have been a hummingbird. On that note, it's time for Fred to say so long. And goodbye to Fred. We now travel to Australia, where we'll meet a greater sulfur-crested cockatoo named Sunny. Greater sea, sir. And thank you, Sunny. You may be interested to learn how our friends acquire their talents. Many of the behaviors they will be complete without a cheering section. So let's have all the men in the audience cheer for Carl, and all the ladies cheer for Jordan. The more you encourage them, the better they'll do. So, is everybody ready? Come on, let's hear it. Are you ready? They're ready, guys. On your mark, get set, and they're off. Now it's still close. Get him on there. close second by Jordan. Let's hear it for both these competitors. Want to flaunt your victory, buddy. Jordan, what do you think? Better luck next time, okay, buddy? There you go. I tell you what, I think they want to save their energy for the next race. Wow, that might be some good strategy there, guys. There you go. I'll put a few obstacles in his path and watch his dexterity as he moves around them. Petey, watch that tail. Okay, how about that for some fancy footwork? Petey was ready to move on to something more daring, like the high wire bicycle. This takes quite a bit of physical strength and coordination. So, for a little motivation, Holly goes along for the ride. There they are. Boy, Petey, those little legs have had quite a workout. Holly, looks like the free ride's over. Say bye-bye. Aw, thank you, Polly. Off you go. Before we leave South America, my friends would like to honor you with their version of a full cannon salute. To get things started, Francis, our hyacinth macaw, will raise the Busch Gardens flag. Now notice how Francis uses her beak as a third hand. In the wild, this aids in reaching out and pulling things closer, like a branch with berries on the far end. How about that? She's got it. Now, Francis will salute the flag while Petey does the honors. Okay, Francis. And salute, Francis. Now, we all know the cannon wasn't aimed at you, Francis, and dead birds don't smile at the audience. Francis, come on now, on your feet. Well, there is this little place, and it's right across the street. It's called Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, I thought that would work. Let's hear it for our little actress. Nice job. Eagle. Yes, very nice, Eagle. Come on, let's try it again. There you go. Leaving the brilliant colors of the tropics behind, we head elsewhere to seek our next group of birds. They're called raptors or birds of prey. Now here's Kim and Roy to tell you about our Harris hawks.
Thank you, Janet. Their habitat is mainly in the desert Southwest. However, their existence in Southern California has become endangered due to a loss of natural habitat. These birds are very family-oriented and they tend to hunt in groups. Now, due to the scarcity of natural perches in the desert, these birds have sometimes been forced to stand on the backs of one another. This behavior is called stacking, and up to 4 Harris hawks have been known to stack on the backs of each other. These birds are sometimes called bay-winged hawks because of their beautiful chestnut-colored wing patches. Okay, Clint, there we go. What do you think of our 2 Harris hawks? They did an excellent job. Although distributed throughout North America, there are still probably more myths and legends about the great horned owl than any other bird of prey, primarily because they're nocturnal or creatures of the night.
This bird is named Cole. We named him that because he was an orphan found on a coal conveyor belt. Contrary to popular belief, the sun does not hamper the owl's vision or color perception. In fact, great horned owls, like other raptors, can see 8 to 10 times better during the day than we can, and are even better adapted for the night. For example, they only need the light that is equivalent to 1 candle. placed at a distance of 400 yards or 4 football fields away on a totally dark night to see well enough to hunt. Owls can rotate their head 270 degrees. They can do this because they have 14 vertebrae in their neck. You and I, even giraffes, only have 7. Up in the bleachers. Their hooked upper beak is used for holding and tearing their food. And 8 sharp claws called
Head and tail until they're 5 years old. Well, both of these eagles are now in our care because they were injured and could no longer survive in the wild. And you may find it interesting that a breeding pair of eagles will remain together for life. And their nests, which they use year after year, can eventually weigh up to 1 ton. We hope we've been able to help you learn and understand more about these fascinating birds and the important role they play in the world we live in. We at Busch Gardens are proud to be able to bring you this once-in-a-lifetime educational and we hope entertaining experience. For nowhere else in the world is there a presentation like this with such a large variety of intelligent and endangered birds. Thank you and enjoy your day here at